Tonight's video is just a follow-up to today's classwork where we worked on converting fractions to repeating decimals. As 7th graders, we are asked to convert fractions to repeating decimals using long division. So that's your objective for tonight. I can convert fractions to decimals using long division. And what I'll do is I'll just walk you through the 3 homework problems. First, we're going to convert 3/11ths to a decimal equivalent using long division. So 3/11ths. That means 3 divided by 11. For 3 divided by 11, if you have a hard time remembering what goes inside the division box and what goes outside the division box, I always think of BO, which stands for bottom out. BO, bottom out. So that tells me the bottom has to go on the outside of the division box. Some people even draw their division box in and drop the 3 on the inside, just as a way to remember what goes on the outside of that division box. Some people have a hard time with that. So for 3 divided by 11, the 3 goes inside, the 11 goes outside. We then look and we say, okay, what really appears at the end of that 3 if we don't see anything? Oh, a decimal. When we're doing our division, we just bring up that decimal point. Can 11 go into 3? It goes in 0 times. So what that means is after the 3, after the decimal point, we add a place value holder of 0. So how many times does 11 go into now 30? Oh, 11 times 2. 2 times 11 is 22. We'll subtract off. 30 minus 22 is actually 8. And then we take another 0 placeholder there. We bring it down. Then we have to say how many times does 11 go into 80? 11 actually goes into 80 7 times. 7 times 11 is 77. 80 minus 77 has a remainder of 3. Again, we'll need to bring down a 0. How many times does 11 go into 30? Oh, 11 goes into 30 twice. 2 times 11 is 22. 30 minus 22 is 8. Okay, we need to bring down a 0. Okay, how many times does 11 go into 80? Okay, 7 times. 7 times 11 is 77. 80 minus 77 is 3. Oh no, what will we continue needing to do? Oh goodness, this must be a repeating decimal. So 3/11ths is actually equal to 0.2727 ... aka 272727. We could also write that as 0.27 with a bar over that to show it's repeating. Also, you can always put the 0 in front of the decimal point. So your answer should be 0.27 repeating. That's what 3/11ths is as a decimal equivalent using our long division. Let's look at number 2. This week is just one of 40 weeks that you get to spend in the classroom with me this year. You get 40 whole weeks with me. This week is just one of those 40 weeks. Let's convert the fraction 1/40 to decimal form. So what that says is 1/40 means 1 divided by 40. If you have a hard time remembering what goes outside the fraction box, BO, aka bottom out. So 40 goes on the outside, the 1 goes on the inside. Then I say, okay, what goes after that 1? If nothing appears, a decimal point. And I need to carry that decimal point right up. 40 goes into 1 0 times. So then I could add a 0 after the decimal point. How many times does 40 go into 10? Oh, goodness. 40 goes into 10 0 times. 0 times 40 is 0. Oh, we still have 10 here, but now I have to bring down a 0 placeholder. Okay, so now we have 40 into 100. How many times does 40 go into 100? Twice. 4 times 2 is 8, so 40 times 2 is 80. 100 minus 80 is 20. Okay, we'll need to go ahead and bring down a 0. How many times does 40 go into 200? Well, let's see. 4 goes into 25 times, so 40 goes into 200 5 times. 5 times 40 is 200, with a remainder of 0. So 1 over 40 is actually equivalent to 0.025 as a decimal. And if you really want to get creative, how many times does 40 go into 0? Okay, 0 times. 0 times 40 is 0. Subtract off that 0. I could bring down another 0. How many times does 40 go into 0? Oh, 0 times. It actually, at the end, has this repeating 0 that we just choose not to write. We know it won't change the value if we start adding zeros after this. And the 7th grade standard asks that you recognize that when you convert fractions into decimal form, you see that it either has repeating zeros at the end, and in that case, we just allow it to terminate, or a repeated pattern that you have to continue on and on and on and on. So I call this a terminating decimal. 0.025, to me, that terminates or ends. But New York State wants you to recognize, really, you could continue this on by writing a series of zeros after that 5. Just a little distinction between my thoughts and the standard I have to teach you. Let's convert 7/5 to a decimal equivalent using long division. Again, at this point, hopefully you're getting comfortable with, if you can't remember how to do 7 divided by 5, and the fact that the 7 goes inside the fraction box, the 5 goes out. You just look at your fraction and you say to yourself, bottom out. A little bit of BO, bottom out. So if I have 7 over 5 and I need to bottom out, oops, sorry about that. 7 over 5 and I need to bottom out. I bottom out the 5 into 7. After that 7, there's a decimal point that we go ahead and we bring up. 5 goes into 7 once. 1 times 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. After that 7, we bring a 0 in as a placeholder. How many times does 5 go into 20? 4 times. So 7/5 is the same as 1.4 because 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 20, that zeroes out, this terminates. So 7/5 is equivalent to 1.4. And there you have it. That's tonight's assignment. Hopefully that helped if you were struggling a little bit with it. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.